for the Fall 2023 City of Ventura Adult Sports Indoor Volleyball Program. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate the time you're taking out of your day to meet so we can go over the rules, to talk about things that you might want to know for the upcoming season. This meeting should be pretty short. This league is pretty small, and it's very self-sufficient. It's one thing that I really do appreciate with this league, is that the teams are all really friendly, the energy is really good, the atmosphere is always great. It's a lot less intense than some of the other programs, and people just all seem to generally be happy to be a part of the program. It makes my job easier, it makes my staff's jobs easier, and makes me feel good about being able to work extra hard to provide these programs. And because of that, as many times as I've been out there, everyone's always, in a very good mood. Everyone's really happy and friendly and happy to help out. So if at any point you do feel like you are not sure about what's going on, feel free to ask me, or even ask other people. Everyone I've ever interacted with in this program has always been super friendly and helpful. So that's one thing that makes me very happy about this league and this program. And I hope you're all really excited to continue being a part of it. This program started last fall, and when it first started, we actually only had, I think, like 5 teams signed up. But somehow word of mouth spread, and just people, even after the first week, just started calling me saying, "Hey, we want to sign up. Hey, we want to play. We want to do this. We want to do that." And I kind of realized we had something special going on. And since then, we've increased the capacity for the league, and we've even hit those maximums. So thank you all for being a part of the league and the program. Thank you all for being a part of the league and the program. Hopefully we can keep expanding and making it bigger and better. I want to be able to provide opportunities for more people to play and to have fun. So this meeting, like I said, is we're going to try and keep it pretty quick. I'm just going to go over team sideline for everybody. So for those of you who've already been in the league before, this is going to be mostly review. And then really quickly, I'll go through the manager's guide. So even the teams that have played before, there might be something in there that you didn't think about before, didn't realize before, which I will be bringing up. And then at the end, we'll have time for Q&A. If you wouldn't mind, please just keep yourself muted for now. We can do a Q&A at the end of the session. If at any point you have a question, please throw it into the chat option. This way I can see it, and if it's a pertinent question, I can address it in the moment. If it's not pertinent, then I'll wait to address it when it comes up. It'll help speed things along. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Okay. All right, so everyone, just so you know, this page right here is team sideline. For captains, this is going to be your go-to. So www in the URL bar .teamsideline.com. Very important, /Ventura. And I will send a link to this website as well. You click it and it takes you here. Lots of pictures of our programs, notices about what we have going on. You scroll down, information about registration. You've all already registered those, so you don't need too much here. We will be going back to some stuff here in a second right now. But what you're going to want the most is over here in the corner, this schedules page. Right now, I haven't posted the schedules for volleyball. I will after the end of this meeting. But this right here was our schedule from last season, our summer. And we're going to walk you through it to show you how it works, what it means. And then you'll be able to see your schedule after the end of this meeting as well. So you click over here, you look over here, you see volleyball indoor. You click on this little arrow, and two options will drop down, either the rec or the comp. Rec is short for recreational, comp is short for competitive. We have 2 different divisions for volleyball. We make these divisions based on the phone calls and emails that we have with you to talk about how competitive, how experienced your team is. The more experienced high-level teams will be playing in competitive. These are teams where pretty much everyone on the team has experience playing volleyball. Almost everyone has played some level of organized volleyball in high school, or a lot of people even in college. So these teams are everyone understands the rotations, positions. Um, they can make their own calls. They can officiate themselves basically. The rec is for teams that are more in it for the fun. They're still learning. They may not have as much experience of exposure. They may not understand positions as well. Um, they're not as competitive. They're probably not going to be able to make their own calls. If you think your team is in the wrong division, please let me know as soon as possible because the schedules have already been created. If we need to make changes, we can. However, we do think that the divisions we've made for this upcoming season are accurate, and we would like to keep them as well as we can. If we think we have to move them, then we will. So once you see these little drop-down options, you can click on them, and it'll show you all the team names that are there. If you don't see your team name, or if you only see a person's name, it's probably because we don't have your team name written down, and you need to send that to me as soon as possible. If you find your team name, click on the league, and what comes up is all of the teams in your division, their schedule, their standings, and then as you scroll down, you'll see your team schedule. This will be blank right now. All you'll see is the week, the date of the game, the time, home, away, and the location. All games are played at West Park Gymnasium, and if you aren't sure where that is, if you click here on West Park Gym, it will open up the Google Maps location for you. Okay. So every night, staff are there to take attendance and to keep score, and they'll be reporting the scores at the end of the night. Usually in this format. If there's a mistake with the scores, please just email me, and I'm happy to change it as soon as I can. Staff make mistakes; it happens. We'll correct things if we notice them. Every season is a little bit different just because of how many teams there are in the league. But usually, either the top 4 or the top 6 teams in a league will make playoffs. Playoffs we'll try to do in one night. We might need to do it in 2 if there are too many teams. But basically, it's just a standard single elimination bracket once you're in the playoffs. And the winner at the end of everything will get the prize. There are prizes for the rec and the comp division. And so those are the 2 division breakdowns that you'll see. Once again, schedules will be available later tonight. The next thing that you'll need as a captain is a team roster. A lot of people have already sent this in. Thank you to those who have sent it. If you haven't sent it in, no big deal. We'll have blank rosters available in the gym. We just need to make sure everybody signs in on this, and they also sign the additional COVID waiver as well. We'll have those in the gym available every single game. So if you do have players that you need to add on to the team, please make sure they sign this before they start playing. These will be available in the gym every single day, so they can just check in at the gym to sign in here. The next thing you'll need as a manager, and this is something that I recommend you also send to everyone on your team as well, is the manager's guide. So in this little option here, you see the manager's guide. If you click on it, and this is the breakdown for the league and all the programs that we run. This was updated, I believe, before last fall, so there may be some incorrect information. I'll explain as much as I can, the changes as much as I can right now. But this is the basic gist of everything that you'll need to know to be a manager for our leagues. And once again, I do recommend you send this to everyone on your team as well. So these are the details about our indoor program: summer, fall, spring, Wednesday nights at West Park Gym. We also run a grass program on Fridays. Like I said, this information is a little out of date because we right now actually are still offering believe spring and fall outdoor on Fridays at Camino Real Park. So if you're looking to get some more volleyball in, there's a drop-in program, which means there are no organized teams. You show up when you want to, you play as much as you want to, you can leave early. That plays at Camino on Friday nights. Please register ahead of time for that, and you register for that one as an individual, not as a team. If you want more information about that, look at a manager's guide and you can scroll down to page 3. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that though. Let's see here. So the important information you need to know, if you're going to forfeit, please let me know ahead of time. This way I can tell the other teams and I can rearrange the schedules to get my staff and the other teams out of there early. We do not allow alcohol inside of West Park Gymnasium. If we catch you bringing alcohol into the gym, if anyone on your team is caught drinking alcohol or belligerently drunk during a game, they'll be kicked out, and or your team may forfeit the game completely. Schedules are updated weekly at team sideline. Schedules also may change every now and then just because of forfeits, teams being moved around. So please, check in on team sideline. Don't print it out as soon as you see it. Put it on your fridge and then stick to it. Games may change. I'll be sure to send out updates as things change, but please be aware that schedules may change throughout the course of the season. I think I mentioned it before, but all of the games are self-officiated, which means that you're not paying for a referee, you're not paying for an umpire. Staff will be on hand, but they are not officials. I have instructed them not to not to make calls. They are there to report scores and to help with the flow of games. If there are issues and disputes, you can ask them for clarification of the rule. They'll refer to this rule book. But I have told them not to give rulings on any plays or calls. If two teams are in disagreement about a call, then it is a redo of the point. Every team gets 8 regular season games, and I think I've already talked about the playoffs at the end. Every day for the league, the first 2 teams in there, please help set up the nets. The last team at the end of the night, please help break it down. Matches are 40 minutes long, and they are best 2 out of 3 games. Transitions between games are very fast. I recommend you warm up outside and you come ready to play. The clock starts at your game time. That's what I've told my staff. If you want to sacrifice game time for warming up, that's up to you and the other team. But my staff have a schedule to keep. They want to get out of the gym on time. Please be ready to start your games on time. And this is my contact info in case you don't have it. We've already talked about rosters. If you've submitted it ahead of time, great. If you have one to submit, thank you. It really helps. However, if you haven't, we will have blank rosters for you to fill out at the gym. This is a co-ed program. Right now, everybody, you are responsible for prudent judgment with respect to each contest, the athletes, the facility, and everyone is responsible for exercising good sportsmanship and respecting others as well. If you respect others and the space, others will respect you as well. Please treat everyone fairly and justly. Please remove jewelry prior to contests as well. You can hurt somebody or yourself with jewelry, so please remove it before each game. I'm going to try and go through these pretty quickly because they're just written down here. You can go through, you can spend a little more time reading them on your own. I trust you, but I just want to point out some key things that tend to be questions. This is a co-ed league, which means that you cannot have more men than women on the court. So you can have 3 men and 3 women, 2 men and 2 women. You can have 4 women and 2 men if you like, but you cannot have 4 men and 2 women. This is a kind of adapted co-ed. So we still play on an 8-foot men's height net. The only adapted rules we use are if you have 1 man in the front row, you can bring a second man forward from the back row to help block, but not attack ahead of the 10-foot line. And on any rally or volley where you have 2 people touch the ball and then it goes over legally, you have to have at least 1 woman touch the ball. Like I said before, this is self-officiated, This is self-regulated. No referee or official is going to be making these calls for you. Please make them yourselves. Please call yourselves on them. Be respectful of the space, the others around you. Matches are best 2 out of 3 to 25 points. The third is played to 15. Rally point scoring, which means every time a ball is served, one of the teams will get a point, depending on who wins the point. Teams must win by 2. The first game is hard capped at 30, and the third game is hard capped at 20. There are no reserves. Once a player tosses the ball to hit, they must attempt to hit the ball over the net. This helps speed the game along so someone can't just toss it and let it drop. If you toss that ball, you have to make an attempt to serve it over the net. And players have a maximum of 30 seconds after the previous point ends to begin the next point with their serve. You cannot attack the serve over the height of the net back to the serving team, which means no blocking or hitting the serve back on the first hit. Everybody needs to check in with the adult sports staff before each game. This is to keep track of attendance so that we can know who's going to be eligible to play in playoffs at the end of the season. Players need to have played in at least 3 games throughout the course of the season to be eligible for playoffs. If anyone hasn't played in 3 games, then they're not allowed to play in the playoffs. This is so you can't make the playoffs and then bring in ringers at the end of the year to just dominate. You have to play with the team that you've been playing with throughout the course of the season. And then another one that gets a little bit confusing, and I know staff are always going to play this one differently just based on how much time is left. But matches are first to 2 games. If the 2 teams split the 2 games and time runs out, it goes down as a tie, 1-1. We don't give a win to whoever had the most points. We don't play a third game to 5 points to see who will win. If time runs out and we finish the second game and it's split, then it goes down as a tie. If, however, time runs out and we're in the middle of a second game or in the middle of a third game and we're not close to finishing, whichever team is up in points will receive the win for that game. And then if that's the win that gives you 2, then that will be the win. If it's the second game and it would be a split, then it goes down as a tie. Once again, we have a tight schedule to keep. All of this is to help keep up with our schedule. This is the code of conduct that we have for all of our leagues and all of our programs. Like I said before, the energy in volleyball has always been really good. So I will go through this quickly. I spend a lot more time with this with my other programs, but I'm very happy to say that I haven't needed to, use any discipline with anybody in our leagues at this point. But basically, anyone who is playing outside of the integrity of the game or sportsmanship of the game will receive penalties. And the penalties will be enforced by staff and then followed up by me. Anyone who is basically if you are doing any of these following things, then you'll be removed from the game, removed from the gym, receive a suspension of a week or longer. That's physical contact with an official, player, or fan. No hitting anyone else. No kicking, biting, scratching, clawing, anything like that. Verbal abuse, objectionable demonstrations. This is using profanities, swear words directed towards people. Flipping the bird towards anyone. Once again, respect others, respect the space you're in. Others will respect you as well. Unnecessary rough play. There shouldn't be. Volleyball is a non-contact sport. You've got your side of the net. The other team has their side. You shouldn't be crossing over the net to make plays. There should be no need for any kind of physical altercation or rough play between teams. And then I already mentioned it before, but no drinking during games. Team rosters, once they are after the 4th week, are locked, which means you can continue to add players to your team up until the 4th week. But after week 4, your roster is locked and you cannot add any new players. Obviously, if you need to have players fill in as substitutes so you don't forfeit a game, that's okay, as long as you clearly identify that they are subs on your check-in sheet. And they do not count towards attendance towards the playoffs at the end of the year. Team players cannot play for multiple teams in the same division. They can, however, play for a team in different divisions. And I mentioned it before, teams can you can use players in the same division as a substitute, but they clearly need to be marked as a substitute so you do not forfeit the match. You can't just call in players from the game before or the game after to help fill out your roster. Um, they need to be marked as a sub so you do not forfeit. You can't just be loading up on players because you want to. And playoffs are at the end of the season. The championship game, the winner from each game from each division will receive prizes. And all of this information as well is available on Team Sideline. I'm going to be keeping this up until the league starts next Wednesday. There will also be a manager's guide available in the gym from staff. At this point, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Looks like there have not been any questions written down, so I'm going to throw it up to Q&A right now. And if you have no questions, feel free to log out. Thank you for being here. Feel free to either type your question or ask it out loud. At this point, we don't have a lot of people. Feel free. Go ahead. Any questions? Any questions? Please let me have them. Let me have them.
Were there any issues in the last season, or I almost got the sense that there were some things that came up that that warrant like further discussion, but maybe I just got the wrong impression.
Do you have any specifics, Vince?
Oh no, I just thought like from I think from the email that was sent out that maybe there might be more periodic like manager meetings or things like that to go through different issues.
No, it's just the one before the season. We always have the one managers meeting before each season. And I think this is our third one now that we've had this. So I just have these not necessarily because there are issues, but just for new teams to learn about the league and the program, Team Sideline, and then for returning managers as well, just to have a chance to refresh their knowledge of the rules and follow up on any questions, any details that aren't necessarily covered that may be washed over during any given season.
Oh, okay, great, thanks.
So one question about game times. So matches are played best 2 out of 3 games. Games are played to 25. So yes, the best 2 out of 3 is 40 minutes long. Some matches don't finish. Some matches finish actually very quickly. It's a toss-up, honestly. Question from Matthew about players serving twice. Matthew, do you think you could give a little more information, please? I don't think I quite understand your question.
Yeah. We were just because I asked Eddie the last season was
Mhm.
like, for example, if there's a gentleman that stays front row, like just because it happened twice and we were kind of confused about it because when does it get really competitive?
Mhm.
Like if one person serves that stays back there and it will
Mhm.
serve both times for a person that doesn't go back.
So it sounds like that the person who's staying in the back row is almost serving as a libero in that situation.
Yeah.
Which is so if they're playing as a libero, then that would be playing inside of the FIBA rulebook. And a libero as well can go in for any player any number of times, provided they switch back with that player before they get substituted out. So it is okay, provided the libero, stays back row, doesn't go to the front row, and that there are no other the libero doesn't go in for somebody who then comes out for a different third person to be going in, basically.
No, of course, yeah. It's just if they serve twice, because I know in like the FIBA rulebook where and also like collegiate or high school, they
Mm-hmm.
can serve once for like a middle, but
Mm-hmm.
they serving twice in one of the, like 2 of the 6 rotation.
Oh, are you saying serving twice for the same person in a game?
Correct.
Oh, we have no rules against it. We've I honestly that's this is the first time I've honestly heard about this. I wasn't familiar that there was a restriction from that in college. We have no rules against it. So if a player is about to go into serving position, they can sub out and have the same person sub in for them every time.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have a
Those,
question about,
mhm.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You said that they have to remove their jewelry, and so I wanted to know if it's a nose piercing that cannot come out. What do we do about that? Because one of
Can it
my
be? Can it be? Can it be?
like sports taped, maybe? Would that count? Would that be
Sports
fine?
tape is fine. I mean, if you talk to the other team, if they're okay with it, um, can it be like covered or hidden in any way?
Yeah, I was gonna suggest that to him, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he can do something to cover it up. He was just concerned about having to take it off because it's so close to his nose.
Mhm.
But he
So my,
could put sports tape or cover it up somehow. Would that work? Would that be okay?
So yeah, so the main thing with that is just safety. So if
Okay.
jewelry is covered, or if there's like no chance that it's gonna come loose, or
Okay.
come in contact with another person,
Mhm.
then whatever it takes to basically secure it in place is fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Hmm. Hmm. If those are all the questions, thank you everyone for being here. I appreciate it. Best of luck to you this season, everyone. Like I said, the schedules are going to be going live later here tonight. Feel free to email me with any questions.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.